You are now listening to the Pelicans post-game report. Flash report.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican post-game report. I'm your host, Big Q. Please feel free to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the share button. There are a lot of people listening to PPR who might not realize your sub buttons are not hit. Please do me a service, check it right now, and hit that sub, man. Listen, I got an update for you guys, or rather a preview for the upcoming matchup against the Charlotte Hornets in the Smoothie King Center. Now, by all means, fam, this show, man, we know a lot of people are still frustrated that Willie Green is still here. A lot of people expected Willie Green to be gone, fired, terminated. The team's 0-6. A lot of stuff has been circulating. I did see some items from Shamit and a few other people that was talking about the monetary end of it, which makes sense. We talked about this early on in PPR about the fact that the Pelicans do appear to be in the cost saving side of things. They talked about David Griffin and how he spent heavy to improve the team. It kind of disenfranchised the ownership to a degree because now they want to cut back on all of the expensive things that they've been doing under David Griffin that didn't work with Joe Dumars. So we're just paying attention to that. Also, that has nothing to do with Willie Green's awful coaching. If this was a normal team, Willie Green would have been gone last year. We would have hired a competent coach coming into this upcoming season, and we would not be dealing with sins of the past, so to speak, right? But this is something that's happening. That they're still he's still on the hot seat right now. And we'll see. He says he talks to Joe Dumars all the time. I still think that this is not a Joe Dumars thing. I think his hands is tied because of Gail Benson. Gail Benson does not want to terminate Willie Green. Now, Willie Green does have a contract remaining with the team for this year. So if you kind of get rid of him, you got to settle with him and pay him off and get him on the body. Yeah. And the interim coach is not going to cost a lot of money to replace him. That would obviously be James Borrego. But as it goes, this is the closest to Pelicans getting a win is this game with the Charlotte Hornets. We knew Memphis early on, didn't happen, but the closest. Doesn't mean they're going to get it. Doesn't mean that that's going to happen in this game. But at the end of the day, man, it's just one of those situations that we're looking out for. So anyway, looking at it, as they face down the Hornets coming into this one, 3-4, they're 1-2 away. The Pelicans are 0-6 on the road, 0-2 at home. 0-6 period, 0-2 at home, 0-4 on the road. They don't win anywhere. So there's a bit of decent news for the Pelicans. The fact that their top star, LaMelo Ball, is not in this game. He's out for this game. I believe it's with an ankle issue, averaging over 23 points and shooting 43% from the field. He's going to be out this game. The issue is also that Zion Williamson could possibly miss this game as well. So if you kind of scroll down right here to the injury report, you can see right there, LaMelo's out, Grant Williams is out, Josh Green is out, and Brandon Miller is out. And Brandon Miller is out to next week. So a lot of the Charlotte Hornets key people are missing in this matchup. So the Pelicans should be able to take advantage of it, right? Who knows with the Pelicans, bro? But Trey Mann more than likely will step in for him. Colin Saxton has been playing solid. Con Newpol is still there. Miles Bridges and Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's the starting center right there. So off the bench, they're going to be shorthanded, but Trey Mann steps in the lineup. So with that being said, the Pelicans do have a supreme opportunity in the Smoothie King Center if they are serious about winning. And we did hear some of the interviews there for him. I also, the Willie Green thing, we kind of talked about him, and the question was asked about Willie Green and what's going on with Derek Queen, a person they gave up 2 picks for, and he played 5 minutes. And with Kevon Looney coming back, the second, and of course we know Willie Green's not good at giving rotations to anybody, even setting his rotations. He's not very consistent in any of that stuff, like having a bench or guys that play. It could be as simple as Kevon Looney starting at center, or if it's not Kevon Looney, if it's Yves Messi at center, and then Kevon Looney off the bench with Derek Queen. Could there be such a lineup where 4 and 5 could be played by both the bigs? Regardless or not, he has to be in the rotation off the bench. However you do it, however it fits, you're going to have to make it work because of what the team gave up to secure him. You can't just allow him to sit. He needs to develop. So whatever the situation is, It has to happen. And besides, tonight, there shouldn't be an issue with Derek Queen because Eve Meese's is also listed as doubtful. Both him and Zion Williamson possibly could, or game time decisions. It's doubtful that they'll play in the game. And more than likely, you'll see Kayvon in the starting capacity, perhaps Derek Queen or Sadiq Bey at the 4. So we'll see how it all goes moving forward. But at the end of the day, man, I just think it's fascinating what's going on with Willie Green. By the way, before we get into the 10 keys to victory, let me play this right here for you guys from Kevin Connor. And this is Kevin Connor's thoughts about the Pelicans from Yahoo Sports. This is what he had to say.
He would be a scapegoat, or do you think he has some deficiencies as a head coach that would give good reason?
It's more just one of those things where like their hands are kind of tied in a lot of ways with some of the personnel that they have in house. And so like you got to change one of the two things. And I wouldn't be, they're clearly, to the point you made earlier, they're clearly not bought into Willie Green anymore. They clearly have quit on him. And so if that's the case, you've got to have a change of voice. And at the very least, you've got to attempt to get somebody in there that can galvanize them and get them to play some better basketball. But at the same time, like it's kind of the same thing we were talking about with Ja. Like you've got this downhill guy that can't shoot, but that is a very good playmaker and short-range shot maker. And you've surrounded him with a complete lack of shooting. The Jordan Poole experiment, it's early, and this could easily turn around, but he's having a brutal start. He's below 50% on the rim. He's not at the rim. He's making nothing off the dribble. He's shooting just 26% and pull-up threes on floaters and middies. He's 6 for 13. Like you're getting nothing out of Jordan Poole. Trey Murphy's off to a rough start to start the season. None of you made the point about Derek Queen. None of their young guys look exceptionally explosive or talented. Was Zion off the floor this year? I found this stat this morning. This is crazy. Was Zion off the floor this year? They're getting outscored by 28 points per 100 possessions. That is just getting absolutely steamrolled when when Zion's off the floor. And so like, it's kind of a broken fundamental concept because you've got this big downhill rim pressuring playmaker and you haven't surrounded him with shooting. And down the roster, you don't have any young talent to be excited about.
And even with Zion, I think there's
All right, now let's get this straight. This guy with the long hair that looked like Jesus, but none of the shit that he says is actually, well, somebody else's Jesus. But the reality is that's BS. The Pelicans have a lot to be proud of or looking forward to. Obviously, he doesn't watch Pelican basketball. That's the problem with people that try to pretend that they know about people's team when they really don't know shit. So what they do is they fortify bullshit commentary with stat prattling. So I would say this stat and all this stuff, the kind of stuff, but they have shooters here. Jordan Poole is hit or miss now in the system because there is no system. Let's be honest. The guy doesn't watch our basketball. Right, that's why we PPR. We do this. We got a goddamn PhD in Pelican talk. So the reality is he don't know what he's talking about. The shooting, Trey Murphy III is a tremendous shooter. Just right now, he's off to a rough start, right? We know that he's coming off the injuries from the offseason. Both him and Herb Jones kind of rounded into form. So usually, it takes, several games for guys to kind of find a fit. But like I said, there's really no offensive system for them to even get attached to, really. So that's an issue. Outside of that, there are guys to be excited about. Jeremiah Fears is tearing it up. Matter of fact, he's in the starting lineup and he's doing a hell of a job. So that's to be Derek Queen. When he played, he played solid ball. Yes, there are guys to be Mr. Peavy. He's another guy that's to be excited about, even though he hadn't played a lot of regular season ball, but he's also a future baller. So the talents of the young people are here. No doubt about it. Very excited about that. Jordan Poole is a shooter. He eventually will find his range. Trey Murphy's a shooter. He will find his range. So they did add guys around him for shooting purposes. That's some BS. So outside of that, man, I just wanted to play that so y'all can hear some of the rhetoric from some people outside the building discussing whether or not Willie Green should be terminated. And of course he should be terminated. Willie Green is not a good coach. In a regular situation, Willie Green would be fired. Now let's take a look at the stats on screen right here. So you can see the Pelicans averaging just under 108 points. That's 30th in the NBA, fam. You know what? There's only 30 teams in the NBA, in the entire NBA. And we're dead last. We're dead last in terms of scoring per game. We're second to last in terms of, look at them opponents' points they're giving up. So they average just under 108, but give up almost 126 points a game. They're 29th in field goal percentage. They're, and then it's just more of the same. So it explains in part when you look at the totality of the 6 games that they played in, how bad that they look. The free throws shooting, the free throws attempts, they are 8th in the NBA in free throw attempts, but they are 26th in percentage. So it's the fact that the Pelicans get to the line. Fam, 8th in the entire NBA. That's the highest respectable ranked stat period that you see here. Everything else is just like, no. Now they do have the 11th in terms of turnovers, which we don't want to talk about. It's 16 in steals, but outside of that, they are getting to the foul line, averaging 30 attempts a game. That's 8th in the NBA, and they are 26th in converting them into points. 74% there. That's ghastly, of course, right? But anyway, the Hornets on the opposite side, they're one of the top teams in the NBA. They average over 121 points a game. That's 8th. They give up 120, which is 24th. They're 3rd in field goal percentage, shooting over 48%. They're 7th in making three-pointers, right? At 15 a game. The Pelicans are making just under 12, or you could say 12 a game for 22nd. You can look at the percentage. They're 7th in the NBA in shooting from downtown, and then of course you look at the other stats. The free throw percentage, they're number 9th in shooting the ball from the foul line, 13 in getting those foul attempts. They rebound at 12th in the NBA. There's almost 46 rebounds per contest. 7th in circulating the ball. Look where the Pelicans at in terms of assists. They're dead last. There is no ball movement with the Pelicans with Willie Green's offense. They're averaging 22 assists a game. That's dead last in the NBA, while the Hornets are averaging 7th with 28. Now, a lot of this stuff is going to change a bit as you can look at the previous matchups that we had with the Charlotte Hornets last year, last year when we split with them, right? We split with them last year. But the reality is some of these guys aren't here for this matchup. So we know LaMelo is not going to be in the game. We know Josh Green, one of their bench guys, that Brandon Miller, another good player, is missing. One of the grunts or their brutes, is missing. But they do still have people like Colin Sexton, and this is their lineup right here. Trey Mann steps in for LaMelo. Colin Sexton still there. Con Newpel, who has been really lights out for them, is there. Miles Bridges is there as well. And you can see they get kind of short after that, right? So can the Pelicans take advantage of that, man? With Jay Fears, Trey Murphy, Herb, Zion, and Eves are listed as doubtful for this matchup, which means Kayvon Looney or either Sadiq Bey and Queen will start in for Zion at the 4 position, right? So the Pelicans have some work cut out for them, but and I'm gonna be hesitant to say whether or not the Pelicans win this game because they have not done anything consistently enough to put together a win. But if they are going to get a win over the next 5 games, it's going to be this game. If it's not this game, it's just going to be up into the 10th. They're going to be 0-10 if they can't win this game. So this is an opportunity to get one win. And I think that they've looked at it and said, man, we might be able to kind of stave off the upsetness right quick and let Willie Green do his thing. I have absolutely no idea, fam. When is Willie Green going to get fired? Why they take it so long? But this is Gail Benson. This is all Gail Benson. This is not no Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars is not that stupid to allow Willie Green's non-coaching ability to crash the team. Gail wants to keep this guy here, and he has to present evidence to fire him. This is what I'm seeing from here. It is totally her holding him up. How long can she keep him prepped up there with tickets going down? Hell, I got a text from the Pelicans front office today about the Laura Bowl tickets. They were giving 4 of them away for what, $200? 4 Laura Bowl tickets away for like $200. 4. So the tickets, they're not moving like that. Somebody need to show her the books. But once again, the people are at her neck and they deserve to be, man. She is really not handling the business like we anticipate her to supposed to be doing. This is really not a good situation. But anyway, let me give y'all my 10 keys to victory for the Pelicans as they get ready for this matchup here tonight, fam. And listen, y'all bear with me, and I understand that, fam. Listen, you're like key number 1, Q, fire Willie Green. I get all of that. I understand all of that. I get it all, but I still got to keep giving y'all these keys to victory because we are professionals, even though this team is not. All right, number one key to victory for the Pelicans in their matchup against the Hornets, right? Number one, get off the snide early. New Orleans is off to that 0-6 start. They can't afford a slow opening quarter. Remember that last quarter, fam? When they got ran out of the building, it's what I call a floating disaster quarter, a catastrophe quarter that floats. If it's not the first, it's the third. If it's not the third, it's the fourth. If it's not the fourth, this is one quarter where they just don't want to play no basketball, right? We got it. We can't allow that to happen. They're averaging over 107 points and giving up 126. That's all bad stats, right? They got to come out aggressively. They have to set the tone with defensive energy and a few high percentage offensive plays. That's what it comes down to, right? We got to start off with that. Number two, they got to protect the paint and rebound. Charlotte, they lean, they got that perimeter heavy, but they are missing some people there that the Pelicans must dominate on that glass, especially the defensive side of it. They have to limit them second chance points. Remember, the Pelicans consistently get beat with second chance points because the identity defensively is not to get offensive rebounds. It's more so for guys to hurry up and get back. And this is how stupid Willie Green's offensive mentality is. If a guy takes a shot and there's no, they're ready to get these 40-something odd 3-point shots up, and they're living by one. They're a one shot or die team, if you know what I mean, family. This is just an extra tip, but they're a one shot or die type of team. What I mean by that is, if a player shoots the ball, a 3-pointer, you see the bigs already starting to fade back and try to run away. So it's not like somebody has a mentality to go and get an offensive rebound for a second chance stick back. It's most of the times you see it's a one shot or die, meaning if they don't hit it, the other team gets the rebound and they go back to the opposite side. No, we got to afford our players more of a chance. If there's a miss, let's offensive rebound and get a quick stick back or circulate the ball back out, this sort of thing. Just not happening. So some people expect the Pelicans' interior advantage to matter. They have to, especially on the offensive end. Number three, they got to exploit the Hornets pick and roll with and deep ball vulnerabilities. Charlotte has shown some weaknesses now. They defending that pick and roll. They allow rim plugs while also being young and inexperienced. They have some things going on. So you got to utilize mismatches. And you got to get a ball to the bigs or roll, and don't just settle for the perimeter pop and force interior action. So get down there with them. They are dealing with some people that's missing, like I talked about. Even though Bridges is there, the Pelicans have to be able to brutalize them. Even though Zion possibly won't be there, they have to still be able to get work in the paint, not just totally living off the 3-point ball, especially when it's not falling. Number four, they got to raise the shooting efficiency. The Pelicans are shooting over 42% from the floor. That's significantly below what they need to win. They got to prioritize the clean looks and drive kick action. They got to set up secondary shots rather than force these shots early in the clock. That's the problem with the Pelicans. Impatient, immature shot selection as opposed to circulating the basketball and finding the correct shot. That is not what these guys do. They're undisciplined. They're undisciplined, emotional basketball team. Stop doing that. Get back to fundamentals and circulating of the ball. Number five, limit the turnovers and increase the assists. Remember, we talked about that. The Pelicans just terrible, as you can see on the screen. They're one of the worst. Matter of fact, they're the worst assist team in the game. That's horrible. They have to change that, and that's why they're getting so many bad shots. That's why they're not moving the ball. It's just a terrible look. They have to change that. That is incredibly poor ball movement. They got that. They must force smarter decisions and be unselfish. They got to encourage the motion offense. We got to get the moving. Look for the extra pass, and by all means, protect the ball, especially in transition. You can't allow haphazard turnovers and just throwing the ball away like Trey did a couple of games ago when Bruce got all up in his face from Denver and was haggling him, and he was so frantic that he threw the ball to what he believed was a Pelican player and actually threw the ball away to the hands of the Denver's coach. You can't make that kind of stuff up. Number 6, match Charlotte's energy and pace. The Hornets gaining momentum behind the rookie class and have shown some energy, and they push the ball down. That's a good ability to have. You got to stay disciplined, but you also have to be active. Don't allow Charlotte young guns to run away with the momentum of the game. Number 7, leverage home court advantage. The Pelicans are at home, so they got to use the crowd, use the familiarity of where you at, and set the tempo. Set it for you. Take advantage. Make the Hornets uncomfortable early with physicality, smart fouls, and control the tempo at every stop. It's your home time. It's your home building. You got to utilize, even though they ain't doing a damn thing with it through 6 games. But let's see how it goes. Number 8, stay disciplined on defense, especially transition and that weak side help. The Pelicans' strengths inside, their transition defense, been flagged as a major vulnerability on scouting reports from different teams all across the NBA. The wings have to pick up these assignments. Defensive rebounds trigger the outlet decisions. Guards are alert in conversion of defense. So they have to be able, it's just, the wings have to play better for the Pelicans, man. We have to play better. Overall, both offense and defense, the wings have to play better. Number 9, utilize the most reliable scorers to carry the offensive load. So guys like Zion, who's probably going to be out. So Jordan Poole and Trey Murphy III have to step up. Trey Murphy, Poole, he has to step up. Herb Jones has to step up. Guys off the bench have to step up. Jay Fears. It is when you have a 20-point scorer like Zion down, who represents a lot of the gravity, it takes multiple player effort. Guys have to score above their averages and help the team stay viable in a game like this. When one of your big dogs is out, 2 or 3 of them got to step out. So they got to run these plays to free up, use off-ball movement. They got to get the screen game going. So not just the isolated crap where, the ISO ball that they like to run. If that goes cold, you got to pivot to somewhere else, Willie Green. And that's the problem, right? And then finally, the last key, close the game with smart execution. When the game tightens, discipline does matter. Pick the right spots, execute your sets, reduce careless fouls, keep your composure, and the Hornets youth may make mistakes to kind of force them into bad situations that you can take advantage of. So use your timeouts wisely. You got to control the tempo in the crunch time, and you got to go to the correct sets when you need them at the right time. Now, I'm saying a lot because a lot of this stuff does not reflect what we see from Willie Green as a head coach. But guess what? That is the proper thing you have to do in this game. Now, ultimately, and like I said, Willie Green should be fired. James Borrego should be coaching this team right now. But we do not have a normal organization. We have an owner who doesn't know anything about basketball, is ignorant and stubborn, and refusing to get rid of people, whether she feels like she like Willie Green or now that it seems like it's a matter of money. Even if you fire Willie Green, this is the last year on his contract, reportedly, you just settle out with whatever you have with Willie Green. You settle out. You don't keep a bad coach and destroy the season. So with a bad coach, the guy, the team has quit on him. It's just amazingly horrible how stupid this leadership is for this team. It is so upsetting to see where we are as a basketball organization. Such a freaking joke that we are. But anyway, man, listen, that's the bell. That's the time I got for y'all on this broadcast. Y'all please feel free to do me a service. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on social media, man, and hit the comment section up and let me know how y'all guys feel about Willie Green and the state of the Pelicans, man. Y'all let us know in the chat. So with that being said, man, I'm up out of here. I'm going to holler at y'all later on a PPR final. Much love. Peace. Go Pels.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things New Orleans Pelicans.